What does Halloween candy have to do with learning to read? Stick around, that's what I'm talking about today. Hi, I'm Rebecca with the Parent Teacher Bridge, where you can find the ideas and resources you need to empower you to become your child's most influential teacher. And today I'm talking about learning to read using all sorts of Halloween candy. Before we begin, make sure you click like and subscribe. Be sure to check out some of the free downloads and resources I have available. I will leave a link in the description below. I have how to help your reader with 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. So be sure to check that out. I also have another download about syllable types. If you've never heard of syllable types, you'll hear a little bit about it today in today's video. But let's get started. Remember to comment below. Our first piece of candy is a Kit Kat. Kit Kat has a consonant, vowel, consonant pattern. Now, this is the key to unlocking reading. If children can learn to read these 3-letter words that have a short vowel in the middle, then they've got a good start to learning to read. They can read basic beginning level books. So let's look at Kit Kat. Of course, we know that they spelled cat with a K because Kit is spelled with a K, and that alliteration is something just kind of cool to use for that marketing and seeing both of the K's like that. But Kit, if you'll notice, is spelled with a K because if you used a C, it would be the soft C. The letter C makes the S sound if it has an I, an E, or a Y after that. Now, if you'd like to know more about that, you can check out my Reading Handy Helper. Let's take a quick look. All right, let's look at the Reading Handy Helper. If you'll go down to the bottom, you can see the letter C with the S sound below it. And then it shows a picture of a circle, a picture of a cereal box, and a picture of a bicycle. And that's just to help your child remember that the letter C can sometimes make the S sound. So when do I use my Reading Handy Helper? Okay, so when my child is progressing from beginning level books to books that have a little bit harder words, maybe they have some exceptions in there and so on, I use my Reading Handy Helper. You can check this out on my website. I will leave a link in the description below. So what's the next piece of candy? Next up is a Twix. Let's look at the word Twix. Now, Twix also has a short vowel in it, the letter I. The letter I is closed in, just like on Kit Kat. It was not open. It's called a closed syllable. So the X is closing it in. Therefore, the rule works as this. The I cannot say its name. It's making its short vowel sound. But look at the beginning of Twix. It has something that Kit Kat didn't. It has 2 consonants at the front, and they are blending together. They are called a blend because when you say tw, you can hear the T sound and the w, the W sound. What's next? A little bit more complicated is this candy. Nestle Crunch Bar. So let's look at the word crunch. What's the vowel? Well, it's the U. And the U is closed in just like the I was closed in with the word Twix. Let's look at crunch. We have at the end, we have the N and the CH. Now, this is something new. The CH is a digraph because it's these 2 letters coming together to make one sound. And at the beginning, it also has a consonant blend. Just as Twix had the TW, Crunch has the CR blend. And it's a blend because you can still hear the C makes its sound and you can still hear the R make its sound. The next piece of candy is my dad's favorite, a York peppermint patty. And if you look at York, not only does it teach your child cursive, it also has a bossy R sound. This is called an R-controlled syllable, and it starts coming along pretty soon in kids' books. So your child may even have a name with the bossy R in it. My child's name is Carter, so he has two bossy R's, the AR and the ER. Basically, if you have an R come after your vowel, then it's going to change the sound and it's going to boss it around. In York, you can see the word or is right there in the middle. Now, remember my reading handy helper that you can get on my website? Let's take a look at it again because the bossy R is on there too. When you are reading with your child and you come upon a word that has the OR in it, you can ask your child, you can prompt your child, what does OR say? Or you can say, I see an R right after that vowel. Is it going to boss the vowel? Is there an R-controlled syllable there? All right, so let's look at the word fork. There you see it on the reading handy helper, and that's going to help remind your child OR says or. All right, what candy do we have next? Let's go a little bit more complicated with something that has two syllables. Milky Way. Okay, so I've written Milky on one piece of paper. Let's just look at Milky, okay? So we have the I, it's closed in. We do have a base word. So it first started out as the word milk, right? And then we added the Y. That would be a suffix. And Y can sometimes make the E sound. Let's take a look at the reading handy helper. The long E sound can be made by the Y, such as in the word bunny. It has a Y at the end that's making that long E sound, just as it does in the word milky. Let's look at way. So in the word way, we have something called a vowel team, the AY. Is that on the reading handy helper? Yes, it is. Let's take a look. So on the reading handy helper, your child can memorize that AY often says A, the long A sound, as in hey. Next up, we have something that has no chocolate, a Jolly Rancher. Comment below if you love Jolly Ranchers, or comment below if you've gotten your teeth stuck to a Jolly Rancher before. And that's why I primarily don't eat them anymore. So let's look at a Jolly Rancher. We've got two words, so I've written Jolly on one. Okay, so if you look at Jolly, it has two syllables also. The O is closed in, so it just makes its short vowel sound. Ah, jolly. And then we have that Y that we talked about just when we were talking about Milky, how the Y can sometimes make that E sound, jolly. Let's look at rancher. Rancher, that has a base word. The base word comes from ranch, right? The base word is ranch. And then we have an R-controlled syllable at the end, ER. Is that on our reading handy helper? ER on our reading handy helper is located with the IR and the UR because they all say So just like we have ER in tiger, we have ER in rancher, Jolly Rancher. Okay, I've got another one with a bossy R. This is one of my son's favorite candies. Snicker, or to be more precise, Snickers. Okay, so let's look at the word Snickers. Well, the first thing that I notice is it does have a suffix at the end, because if you take off the S, you can say snicker, which is a real word. Okay, and then I also noticed near the end, it's got a bossy R, that ER sound that we talked about in some of the other candies. But in the beginning, it has SN. Those are two consonants. I still hear each of them making their own sound. Sn. That's two sounds there, but it's a consonant blend. Okay, and then we have the I. He's very much closed in. He isn't making his own name sound. This E cannot help the I make its name. There's two letters in between. It doesn't work that way. So the I says I. And then we have CK. Now, CK is one of those that's a digraph. It's two letters, but they're only making one sound. And that often happens if you have the K sound come right after a short vowel. It's usually going to be spelled with the CK. And then we have Snickers. So all of the Snickers have the S sound on there at the end. If we were talking about a real snicker, like a facial expression, then you could say that it is plural if you add an S. What other Halloween candy can you think of? You don't like Halloween? Christmas candy, okay? Store aisle candy. What candy can you think of that has reading patterns that your children are actually learning when they are in early elementary school? Leave a comment down below. It helps your child to start noticing all these patterns. This is why puzzles are wonderful, and just finding any sort of shape patterns, because when you read, you are reading letter patterns and you are trying to decode or sound out the word. So if you haven't yet watched my other video on Halloween candy math, I'll leave a link for that in the description below. It's just something fun that we do every year as we tally up the different pieces of candy that we have bought, and we put it to good use before we give a lot of it away. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and be sure to check out my website. I have a blog, I have a store, and I have free resources for you as well. Remember, parents, you are your child's most influential teacher.